Hello, Fuzzletronic Flapinators, Lurks here, and today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks to help you and I overcome social anxiety. Although some people in our fandom are lucky enough to be extroverts, a lot of us are introverts, and that means some degree of social anxiety often. I'm certainly no exception to that. I've had pretty bad social anxiety ever since I was in my early teens. The furry fandom has definitely helped me, to a point, overcome that anxiety. Alright, I've got a list of 6 things that may help you overcome some social anxiety issues. The first one may seem kind of obvious, but start interacting socially online. It's semi-anonymous. It can be a lot easier to deal with just typing messages back and forth and maybe eventually moving toward voice conversations than it is to walk up to somebody at a 10,000 person furry convention and be like, "Hi, I really like your whatever. Can I take a picture with you?" I still have problems doing that. There is obviously Telegram. There is Discord. There is Twitter. Does Furry Amino even still exist? I have no idea. And Instagram and other stuff like that. But there's lots of different social media that have furry communities within them, where you can interact with people maybe a little more within your comfort zone. So don't be afraid to do that. And once you get comfortable talking to people in a group setting, you can always switch to DMs, which are a little bit more personal. Alright, the second thing I have is kind of along the same lines, but it kind of takes it one step further, and that is interacting in a virtual environment. Talking about VR. Whether it's VR Chat, Neos VR, or some other platform, there are several good VR apps out there that you can use to interact with people a little bit more of a face-to-face basis as an avatar. Now you may be saying, "Oh, but I don't have a headset. I can't afford a headset." Well, you don't have to have a headset. At least with VR Chat, there is a PC mode that you can use. Now, it won't allow you to move your arms around on your avatar, but you can still interact and talk and enjoy most of the experience without a headset. And all you need for that is a decent computer. You don't have to have a $5,000 Alienware tower with 6 million gigawatts of everything measurable. Now, the nice thing about VR is that it actually gives you somewhat of a face-to-face interactive experience. And it may be a little bit more comfortable interacting with other people as an avatar than it is as yourself. This may not be the case for everyone. In my case, it actually didn't help me. I found that I had just as much social anxiety, if not more, in a VR setting for some reason, but I think I'm kind of unusual there, and you may have better results. And honestly, it's also a lot of fun. There are so many worlds and so many cool things to do in VR. If you get into it, you may find that you really enjoy it. Alright, now we come to actually going to events. Now, I would recommend starting out small and always going to events with people that you have some level of friendship with already. They may be people you've met online or maybe people you've met in person. Keep it small. You might not want to go to Midwest Fur Fest alone for your first event. I actually did that in 2017. If you're lucky enough to have local furry events, head out to a smaller local event with some people that you've met before. If you don't know anyone there, it could be pretty intimidating. I know I certainly would be intimidated, and I'd probably just hide in the corner and wouldn't talk. So you gotta have friends there. This is a lesson I've learned over and over again at furry conventions where I've ended up being miserable because I didn't have friends there. Now, not only do you want to have friends there, but you want to make sure that they have similar interests and they're actually going to hang out with you. That can be another issue. I had one con that I went to with a bunch of people I knew online and some that I'd met in person before, and they didn't end up hanging out with me that much because, well, I guess they were all like kind of intimately involved with each other, and they spent a lot of time behind closed doors in the other room. So you might want to do a little poking around and make sure there's nothing like that going on, and make sure your friends at the convention or wherever you're going are actually going to have time to spend with you. And after you've gone to 1, 2, 3, or 10 events, your comfort level is probably going to start getting a little bit better. You're going to get to the point where maybe you can go out and do some stuff by yourself and interact with some new people. It will help just getting out and doing it. I guarantee it. Alright, the fourth piece of advice that I have. That's 4 if you can't see my furry fingers. Don't be afraid to push yourself a little bit. As you go through this process, you'll probably start to feel at least a little bit more comfortable in social situations. Once you get there, set some goals for yourself. If you're chatting online, maybe that goal is as simple as to send a DM to somebody you think is kind of cool and see if you can start a conversation. Although that may be intimidating, It's a pretty small step. Just say, okay, I'm going to do it, and make yourself do it. At an event or a convention, maybe you see that fursuiter that you really like, you think their suit's cute, you think their personality's cool. Maybe you can push yourself to actually go up and ask for a picture. Although pushing yourself can be a little bit intimidating at first, probably it'll help your confidence just that little extra bit, and you'll be comfortable doing it again. Another great piece of advice is do, well, exactly what I'm doing right now. Share yourself, share your interests, share your personality, share your hobbies. On social media, on YouTube, whatever, just make people interested in you. And when people are interested in you, they're a lot more likely to approach you, which may be more comfortable than you approaching other people. That's been great for me at cons. People recognize me from YouTube or from Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and they come up and talk to me. And that helps my comfort zone so much because I don't have to put forth that effort and the stress of going and starting an interaction with somebody else. They've brought the interaction to me, and it's just easier and less intimidating for me that way. So the last thing I got to say is something you might not have thought about, but maybe you should find out why you have social anxiety, if you don't know already. I know my social anxiety is probably related to being bullied when I was in grade school, but other people may have diagnosable conditions that they can get help for. You may have an anxiety disorder. There's nothing wrong with going to a professional and seeing if you actually have something diagnosable, and if you do, getting the appropriate treatment for it. That may help more than anything else. There was a time in my life where I was suffering from some anxiety disorder, and it was hard to do, but I went to a professional and I got treatment, and it worked. It worked really well, actually, and I don't really have a diagnosable brain chemistry type anxiety disorder anymore, although still just the social anxiety thing lingers. So I would highly recommend, if you have the desire and the means to do it, go talk to somebody. It may just be one appointment. Maybe you'll find out you don't really have anything diagnosable or treatable and you just have to kind of work through it. Maybe you don't want to work through it. Maybe you're totally comfortable with who you are, and I've accepted the fact that I'm never going to be an extrovert. I'm never going to be the life of the party or the one who's running around at a furry convention hugging everyone and getting pictures with everyone. It's just not my personality type. And that's all right. I'm cool with that, and you should be too. Wherever you end up on your journey with social anxiety, or if you're just watching the video and you don't have social anxiety, you be you and be awesome. Okay, as always, I have to thank our super wonderful, amazing, awesome patrons. You help keep this channel going and growing. And if you over there, are not a patron and want to be super awesome and all those other things I said too, please check the link in the description. Also got some really cool collectible pins for sale as well, so check those out too. Alright, thanks for stopping by. I hope this helps you if social anxiety is something you've been struggling with like I have. Next week, we'll be headed over to Texas Furry Fiesta for some fuzzy fun, and we'll be back the week after that with, big surprise, a TFF video. Alright, we'll see you then. Stay safe and stay fuzzy.